like sub stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And we live.
What's up?
Sweating. That's crazy. 2 weeks ago, it was 5 degrees.
Dude, I can't believe Jeff was in town. I had no idea. I was at K-Fest too. I didn't know his car was there.
It was in the JL booth.
The fuck? I didn't even go to the JL booth.
You missed out, man.
Yeah, I know I did. I just went to the Gately Truly area, hung out for a little bit, and then bounced. What's up, Bobby?
What's up, dudes?
Saw dudes.
I'm fucking tired.
Sweating? Oh. So, did you get back in town yesterday? What is today? Wednesday? Tuesday? Yeah. You get in yesterday or did you get in Monday?
I got in Monday evening.
How was your Knowledge Fest experience? What do you think about actually? Is this your first one ever? Or
yeah, I've never attended Knowledge Fest.
Okay, so not only attended, but you were like involved, which is
double cool.
Way more than just
teaching. And I did a couple of different like Q&A things and talking about stuff. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was good. I taught a little bit of very, very brief basic fusion. Our plan was to take people through the box assembly and we had a little bit of confusion with many of the people didn't bother to bring a laptop and have it set up. And then me and JT, well, mainly JT and Jordan from Truly had some miscommunication, and JT didn't actually realize it was the time that he was supposed to be actively on the computer and showing the box build. And then there was some funny, like, triple layers of miscommunication between them while he was like, well, Jordan's like, JT, do the thing. And JT wasn't picking up what he was putting down. And finally, Jordan was like, I don't understand what's going on with JT. Bobby, fucking jump in. And I was like, okay. And I did. And then JT was like, okay, whatever, he's doing it then. Like, and then after we were done, we were like, what's up? And he was like, I don't know. Why did you do that? And I was like, well, fucking Jordan asked me to after he had asked you 3 times to do it. And he was like, oh, that's what he was telling me. Like, fucking, we were like, it was like, and he was like, everybody just kind of went with the flow. And it was like, kind of like, it wasn't like a big panicky thing. And I jumped in and then I started taking everybody through the box design. And I got like 3 minutes in and one guy like asked a question. Hey, was like, asking questions about how I did that. And I was like, okay, hold on. How many of you guys actively work in Fusion? And it was like a half a dozen of the 50 people there. And I was like, okay, we got to back way up and we're going to do some Fusion basics here. I got to teach you guys how to draw like a shape and put a hole in it.
So we're going to turn on your computer, hit the power button.
And nobody had computers. Like there was very, very little people with a laptop ready to go with Fusion. It said you need to have a computer and you need to have Fusion on it and you need to be ready to go. But like we saw that nearly nobody did. So it was like, okay, well, we'll not exactly abbreviate it, but we'll try to make it as simple as possible so that they're learning what we're doing while we're doing it. And then they were clearly not learning while
you were doing
it. And so I went, okay, I'm going to teach you enough so that when you do get to Fusion, you have learned enough how to learn to turn it on and be able to, because when you first start, if you don't know what you're doing in it, you will not be able to draw a fucking line and it will drive you nuts. Well, not everybody, but many people. And like, 2 weeks ago, the lesson I did in here, I was really happy about how well it was going because the guys were picking it up well enough that they were asking me questions about why I didn't do it differently because they understood already how I might do it. And it was like, well, I'm showing you the most direct series of commands
to make it happen.
Things that make it happen using the same thing over and over again or close to it. That way I'm not mixing it up with a whole bunch of different ways and you're misunderstanding how to use some of the commands, right?
Yep.
So I was keeping it, pretty simple there. But and we did that for 20 minutes, half hour, and
I watched it earlier actually.
You watched the show from last week,
Yep.
or from
2 weeks ago.
From Knowledge Fest?
Last
Because
week.
we also that's going to be available is the lessons from Knowledge Fest. Now it is kind of similar to what we did 2 weeks ago, but it's kind of abbreviated and it's a little more clunky. I hopped on a computer that wasn't mine, and remember we were talking. What was kind of cool about the particular moment when I was teaching it is I went up and all of the tools at the top of the screen were different than mine, and it was easy for me to address that and work around that, because when I was doing the lesson 2 weeks ago on the show here, guys were like, your toolbars look completely different than mine. And I was like, that's okay, because, and then I told them a little bit about how the toolbars at the top are customizable. And if they have a big ass screen, they may have a whole lot of tools up there. And if they don't, it'll be kind of smaller, and you can make adjustments. You can make adjustments to the tools in the regular main screen, and you can make adjustments to the tools that come up when you're working in your sketch, and then same with when you're in any of the other surface or mesh or sheet metal or plastic or utilities or man. Now, for now, when we do this, don't go into surface mesh or sheet metal or plastic until later. You don't want to be in there because you're just going to be more confused. So, So real quick, Ryan has a question about my 15K. My 15K is most similar to Rootless 10K. It's also half ohm, designed to operate at a half ohm, and it has a little beefier power input section and a slightly different chipset inside, and then obviously a couple of different things so that it operates with our base knob that has a built-in clip light, temperature sensor, and voltmeter inside.
Here's the real question.
I did hear Jeff's Mazda, and I will tell you that Jeff's Mazda sounds like shit. It was the most beautiful sounding high performance audio system I've ever heard, and it's fucking loud. It sounds really, really good doing it. So it was really fucking awesome. That was the car that
God, how did I miss it? That pisses me off.
Like I heard, before that I heard Chris Pate's Civic.
I'm sorry, Steve. I gotta take a quick moment with Steve. Sorry, Drew, but I did not have shit for time to communicate or bullshit or hang out with my boy. Steve made it all the way down and came and got demos in the truck, and we hung out just a little bit, and then next thing you know, he was gone, and I was like, damn. I was like, I didn't I didn't get to go hear that Arc Audio Volt Vetical that everybody said was really good, but it was like all of my guys were like, it was fucking beautiful and sounded amazing, and it very quiet. Like it was fucking amazing.
That's
and
center drive thing,
and really amazing, really impressive, and like.
When did you hear it? What day?
When did I hear Jeff's car?
No, the Volt.
I didn't hear the Volt. Allison and Anthony and or Gavin and Tyson. Did you hear it too, Ant?
Yeah, I heard
And
it.
Anthony, and everybody reported that it was like that fucking thing was cruel, and it sounded amazing.
That was the thing. You sit in the middle, right? You sit in the center of it.
Yeah, and has a huge screen.
Yeah, so the
subs and
it looked amazing.
I haven't heard it, but
fucking, I was dying to hear that. But
I bet it kind of sounds like imaging wise, like Chris Pate's Civic. Like it doesn't sound like a car, and it's weird at first.
Well, you know,
this is fucking crazy.
When I walked up,
everybody's immediate description was like, "Wow, it was beautiful. I wish it could have been just a bit louder. Would have been great, because it was pretty fucking quiet."
On the loudness note, I think it kind of depends on who was operating it. The dude that built it, I believe, or whose car it was, he was playing it quietly. And then when I walked up to it, he had turned it on after someone else was demoing it for him, and he was like, "Holy shit!" And like when he turned it on, it was loud. There was a ton of bass. I was like, "Where are the subs at?" Because I didn't see subs.
They're in front. Oh yeah, they're in the front.
Jumped in there.
Fucking hood thing. I'm so sick.
I started in the back. I didn't see the front, and then he jumped in there. It's like, whoa! He's like,
That's too loud.
He's like, I cannot believe they were demoing it this loud. And then he turned it all down. He's like, "You want to hear it?" To this other guy, he got in and he turned it on. I was like, "It's so quiet now. It sounded way better before, dude."
Yeah,
so, I don't know.
That's no, I tell you,
can't get
y'all
loud.
come on down to Aggie and all the SQ, not all of them, but anything that MTI rolled out,
jam. That's where, like, you know, I have a tune in my truck I call my jam tune, and I like got that terminology from Jeff, you know, and I you know, I had a lot of people compliment me that my truck sounded fantastic and it was loud as fuck, and they really liked it a lot. And it, you know, obviously I have a little more work to do on it. Like Tyson had like 2 fucking hours to tune it. He would have had a little more if he wouldn't have been polishing motherfucking aluminum pieces for an hour and a half. But
while we're talking about it, might as well. Here, I'll share some pictures while we're talking about it.
So, but yeah, Jeff's car was fucking awesome. You know, like talking about like the 2-seat tune, it, you know, it sounds pretty fucking cool, and he had the volume down, like it had to be much lower, and then.
This is not Jeff's car for those who might not know.
You switch seats, and it's about the same, you know, but it still has to be pretty quiet. And then and then he did like the SQ tune in the driver's seat, and it's like a bit louder, and it sounded really, really perfect. But not very loud, and it was like, and I don't know, like most of the time, SQ tunes typically are a little kind of dry and kind of quiet.
Yeah.
Like the best, the fucking award-winningest ones, and I would say that his was a little more pleasing. I felt like it had typically
you're right.
a bit more range than many SQ cars.
Winning vehicles are very technical.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. And then he was like, "All right," and then I have this, and this is the tune that I drive around listening to. And it's like this, and it was fucking rad. It was like 10 fucking dBs louder. It was jammed. It was probably doing a little over like a 40 on the subs with lots of bandwidth.
That's right where it is. It's like a 40 sealed. It's like a 40 something.
Yeah, and once we swung the doors open, it fucking hammered. And all these people come walking over, and they're like, "Whoa!" And I'm like, "This motherfucker sounds good." And I mean, it was more fun. I wanted to do windows down, can experience that.
So like, I've been behind it in traffic going to like marked class or whatever, and then you just hear like I could hear it over my at that point. I could hear it over the system in the truck. I was like, "Damn, bro!" But that's the goal for my truck is his Mazda, and I took a big step towards it last night. I'm now running bridge mid range, and time to turn that thing up a little bit.
Yeah, bridge mid range with all
that dynamic snap that it, like I was playing a drum thing. I just have a quick tune in it just to make it work because I had to change how the amps are routing, and I was listening to some rock song and just the snap of the snare. I was like, "Ooh,
yeah." I have 3 808s in my truck, so everything's bridged except the tweeters, and there's seven tweeters for the jam tune that are active because I have silks, and then I have the little horn drives. I have a set of prototype hybrid little horn drives in the rear doors. I got that shit it's there and it's playing, but it's pulled down way low. Only a couple guys that got in that like pulled the seat back real far were like, I'm getting a little too much off of that rear, and I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, when I switched it to the tune that didn't have the center channel speakers or the rear speakers at all. And a couple of those guys liked that more. And then I went back to my regular jam tune. Unless somebody said something about hearing the rears doing something and having an effect on them, then I just left it in the jam tune. I didn't even bother with like the SQ tune because I probably should have done it a little bit for a few of the SQ guys that got in, because
at events like that, their ears are so cooked by the time they get around.
Well, there wasn't really very many things to listen to.
Really?
Whether there, I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of vehicles, but nobody wanted to play any of their shit because they didn't.
Shit.
I mean, there's that like
Shit.
that fucking Volt, and then there's Jeff's car, and then there's now, and my truck's not on their level for SQ shit, but as far as jam tune is
It's
concerned, I'm fucking in the neighborhood. My truck didn't sound nearly quite as beautiful as Jeff's, but it sounded fucking beautiful.
I mean,
like, real good.
I
Like,
thought it sounded good.
thank you, bud. I appreciate. I know you're fucking honest. You'll let me have it like a motherfucker when you don't like my tunes. I've had Steve be like, that sounds like shit, but sorry, animal things.
Well, yeah, just think.
I'm glad you're honest with me. I'd much rather have somebody say,
I don't like
this
it.
sounds like shit. When I'm all, what do you think? And I think it sounds like shit. I'm like, thank you, cool, good. Everybody else has been telling me how great it is, motherfucker. You know, I mean that. I mean, no, that's a real. This is fucking awesome. I'm like, yeah, you like it? That's cool. All right. I'm like, fucking, I don't know. My ears are fucking fried. I've been listening to this thing for 6 fucking hours. You know, but
like for me, when I listen to it, what I want to hear when I hear a good system is like the singer, the vocalist. I want to hear that. Like, if that is really clear, then you've done a good job, pretty much. I mean, like all the rest of stuff's gonna come through if you're able to achieve the voice. So like if you do that really well, and what you did in the one with the eights or the truly whatever that was, but yeah, that's my probably number one priority when it comes to like.
Well, you know, there's so many like instrumental, like they're almost like cheater songs. You can put on like an instrumental and you play it, and like and you can get away with some gnarly shit in that mid vocal area, because I mean people's voices are in a relatively small-ish bandwidth considering what we hear, and yeah,
you know, like playing a song.
So you could play some shit, but you know, I on purpose, you know, found a whole set of songs that the Truly subsystem performed really well, and there was a bunch of stuff that I had tried that like sounds great in the truck, but I wasn't getting a lot of snap and impact. But those songs didn't do a lot of snap and impact and smooth rolling bass the way a lot of the stuff did that I chose to play. Right? You know what I mean? You want to play songs that sound beautiful and display that little 6.5 in the center channel and the 10s under the seat and what that does. So there was a couple times that were you in the truck with me when the 3 guys got in the whole back seat? Steve, was that you that was with me?
No, when I was there,
twice I had people flip the seats down, open the doors, and just climb in, and they're all sitting there, and I'm all, okay. I'm like, this isn't really what this is built for, but do it pretty good with those rear speakers in there, you know. So
I'm guessing this guy was a somebody. I don't know SQ people or high end audio, but I think it was Gary Bell. So it was.
Oh yeah, Gary. Yeah.
He's somebody.
Yeah.
So when he walked by, everybody was like, "Oh!" And then he jumped in for a demo, and someone was like, "Oh, Gary Bell's getting a demo." And I was like, "Oh, I guess this guy's somebody. I don't know who he is."
Yeah, Gary's a brilliant dude. He's a great builder, smart dude, and he's done a lot.
He's done a lot in the industry over the years.
Yeah, and he was with us at the Max training. Me and Tyson and Jeff and Justin. So
his name
that was where I met
sounded
hung out with him, and yeah, he's super chill dude. Yeah.
How was the banquet? Did you guys go?
So we went to the banquet. We got in a little bit late because we walked up and everybody was ready to like go in, and we didn't see any of the Truly people. And Allie was like, I bet they're still tearing down and packing up. And I was like, let's go. And we went over there and spent like a half an hour with them, helping them finalize everything, which was great because, you know, there was like 4 more sets of hands, and it was only like 4 or 5 sets of hands doing it. So like, it would have probably taken them an hour. Instead, it was all done in like 30 or 35 minutes. And any of us that were there that needed to go to the banquet, we all headed in there, and we got food, and the food was pretty decent. And there was like a live singer, this beautiful lady, and this, you know, musician guy that was with her, and they were playing. They sounded pretty good. And then they were getting ready to do like some announcement stuff and get into some of the awards and everything. And then they brought up like the Snap Finance like CEO guy or something, and and he was like kind of thanking everybody for what they do and talked about, his part of the thing. And then he started talking numbers about why you should use Snap. And I was like, this is a live commercial.
Yes, it
And
is.
I don't watch commercials on fucking TV. So I'm done. And so me and Allie and Byron got up and walked the fuck out because I mean, I was interested in seeing the awards and all the stuff, but I'm not interested in
hearing that shit.
a live fucking commercial. So that was a little bit of a mistake on.
Did they do the installer of the year or whatever?
Installer of the year thing, yeah. I met the installer of the year guy.
Who
See
won
you, buddy.
that?
Have a good night. He was great, and he was a very nice guy, super talented. I can't remember what his name is right now. And
you remember where he's out of or any of that? Like,
what's that? I'm sorry.
You know where he's out of?
I can't remember. I think he's at. I want to say Titan Motoring, and I don't know where they're.
Ray West.
Yes, I think that's who that was. I could be fucking it up though. I could, and I could even be wrong about where he's from. I hate to be misspeak.
Okay.
I mean, I had all that information, but I also had quite a bit of whiskey when I had that conversation.
How was the how did
Nick
people
Frazier.
how did people take Gately Audio? I mean, being that you're obviously coming from the SPL world, and
Nick Frazier was the installer of the year. I think it was
Nick Frazier.
somebody else that was. But yeah, I think we had a really great response. Scott and I talked to several people. I directed a lot of people over to Scott because he was signing people up, and yeah, we for sure signed up a few more dealers with the product, and
Nice.
and we there was a few guys that didn't know much about Gately Audio, and a few that knew a little, and like, I've seen a couple of these boxes come through our shop, man, they're pretty cool. And then it's like, yeah, I'm not a guy in a driveway building these, so that'd be really challenging for somebody in a driveway to build one like this, but like, we have these in stock and you can sell these and make money. And they were like, really? And I'm like, yeah, dude. Like, I'm like, oh my God, that's something that I was actually telling John Raby this morning or the other day on the phone. And I'm like, it's kind of crazy how many dealers don't know that they could be a Gately Audio dealer and actually sell the product and make money. Like, you know how often the 5-star guys, Dean and Fernando, are installing our boxes. I've seen at least like a half a dozen videos with them installing our boxes and speaking highly of them. I didn't know that they weren't a dealer and that these customers are bringing the boxes into them. And I'm like, you guys could be a dealer and you could be. And he was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. And I'm like, you can make pretty goddamn good money on Gately product as a dealer. Like, yeah. So yeah. It was interesting to realize that. And that's something that, John and Scott here and myself have been working pretty hard to kind of inform dealers of what they really can do. We talked to enough of them often enough that they obviously figure out that it's real and that you can do something with it. But it was interesting to communicate with probably 3 or 4 people that were aware of the product and had worked with the product that didn't know that they could be set up as a dealer. That was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Now, before we jump into doing some fusion, I don't know how much time we have left. We got about half hour, 45 minutes before I burn out of here. But I want to talk about something, and Drew, you should tune into this.
I'm listening.
A friend of mine brought over the owner of Massive Audio. And I was like, oh, he's going to ask me about my experience. And
he's going to ream you a fucking new one, dog.
Dude, this poor guy had no idea of what experience I had. They never reported any of that situation to him at all.
Wow.
I'm describing this because he was like, hey, man, I love what you do. I'm a huge fan of what's going on. And I'm like thank you.
Did you say Planet Audio? Planet Audio?
Massive Audio.
That's what I thought you said. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I did say Massive Audio. Yep. Okay. Yep. And he was a very nice guy. And he was like, I want to give you a couple of our BOA subs. And I was like, I have some experience with those. And he was like, the Ferrite
Yeah.
or the Neo? And I was like, the Ferrite or the Neo. And he was like, yeah, like all
All right.
like kind of pumped for a second. I was like, no. And we were like kind of in the middle of my booth, and there was
What
like a
stain
half
did y'all
of the
pick?
people around us. I said, can we step aside like over there and have a private conversation? And I need to tell you about this because you need to know. And I was like, I'm actually really surprised you don't already know this.
Yeah,
And
like this
and you
isn't good about
should,
your employees right now.
because you should. Yeah, and I'm like, so let me tell you what I experienced with your sub on a mechanical level. And I was describing, and he's like, oh no, that they do that? And I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, do you understand? And he's like, I pick all the parts and I help engineer my products. I'm like, do you guys test them? He's like, a lot of it, like admitting not all of it, you know. And I'm like, so
Brother.
this is a huge issue with those woofers, and they probably all do this. And I called, and so did my customer, and I spoke to somebody. I was like, I can't remember his name. I don't even know if I would remember his name if you told me. And then he's like, and the other gentleman, my buddy, I can't remember his fucking name, but he's like, we need to talk to JR about this. And I was like, oh, that's who I talked to. I'm like, that's who I talked to JR. And because somebody else I was talking to went and got him because, and this is what he described to me. He said this was an SPL burp only sub. And I explained, and the owner's shaking his head. No, that's not what that should be. I'm all, yes, it is. It's a bottomless design, and it has an FS of 27 hertz after break-in, and it has this massive fat flat wire heavy coil to handle massive power, but not be lightweight for an SPL application. This is, significant cone mass for. This isn't an SPL burp sub.
No.
And if it is, it's a really shitty one, and it makes a shitload of noise. So like, is it the noise that it's making that's going to give you the fucking
What noise was it making? I'm trying to remember. Was it bottoming out?
The spider was
like
like
the two progressive
that's
spiders
right.
were only separated by 8 millimeters, and when it moves, it gets hung up. I mean, it'll come back apart if you just let it go, but you push down and you feel the top spider touch the bottom spider, and then you push a little bit more and it becomes a little bit free, and then as you release, you feel them impact again and then up, and you're like, oh my god. That was the noise I was hearing. It was I thought my box was broken, or I thought something in my van was broken and clacking. I'm like, man, I was like, damn, I hope I didn't break my AC unit or something. You know what I mean? Like, I've had a lot of single 18s in there. Anyway, the guy was like, what could I possibly do? I was like, man, the whole swapping subs out or doing recones for him or something, that ship has sailed and then some. He's already sold 2 of them on eBay and lost a couple bucks on them. I'm like, if you want to be a good business owner with integrity, you can buy back all the stuff from him that he feels like he wasted his money on, because he's super disappointed. I was like, not to mention, you guys sold him those 6 woofers and what's labeled as a 5,000 watt amplifier that is like a 2,500 watt board with a single set of 1-aught inputs.
What's he have to say when he says something like that to him? Did he say anything?
And he was like, I want to make it right. Does he need amps? Like, what can I do? And I was like, he's got amps. He's got new subs. Like, I'm like, the most appropriate thing for you to do at this point would probably be that. But I understand that that's not ideal for what you would like to be, but what's ideal for you, that ship has sailed and then some. And
like this type of shit, him not knowing.
I told him, I said, I'm so sorry, I'm reporting that to you in that way, but your guy was either super duper misinformed and speaking on something that he shouldn't be speaking on of what that product is supposed to be, or he was lying to me on the worst level possible, just literally bullshitting me on the worst level.
Yep.
And
then
either
not
of them are
telling-
almost equally as bad.
And
Like
then
they're
not
both
telling
really
him-
bad. That was where that ended. And my customer even called and also spoke to him and got the same explanation of that was how the product would work. And I mean, it wasn't a conversation I was expecting to have. And he was a very nice person, and I really believe he had no fucking idea.
I mean, dude. I mean, think about it. Think about how many companies just have yes men.
Dude, if Colt,
So many.
Colt is like my top fucking 5 favorite people on the fucking planet. I fucking literally love that man. He's my fucking boy. But if he said some ridiculous shit like that to a customer, I would fucking fire him. There's no way that shit's okay.
But for one, he wouldn't. But he would also tell you if you had a product with a problem.
Hey,
He would.
we have a customer super unhappy with 6 $2,500 18s. And I know that they gave him like a super duper deal. I don't know what the fuck it was, but
How much product does Massive move? Like, do they have a big dealer base? Do you know?
I don't know if they have a dealer base because they've existed for a period of time. They had a lot more significant booth than most brands there. They had like a 30 by 10 space.
So brands like that are a lot bigger than the basehead community thinks. Like they're fucking huge.
Yeah, there's a lot of brands that you're just like, damn, dude, I can't believe you're here. But then you think about it, just like you said, I'll be like, there's so many dealers that didn't know that they could be a dealer of your box. It's like this market that we almost don't even know exists. It's out there. I mean, you're even in that industry. You're not like a shop front, shop fronted trying to sell decks and all this stuff constantly. But there's a whole side of our industry that just coexists, and like we almost don't even know about each other. It's pretty wild. I don't know.
Yeah. I was pretty surprised. So let's whip through some fusion stuff here, gentlemen.
Before we get away from it, who was that booth that was right in the middle there, the white S10? Like I was surprised they were there. Who was that?
Nemesis Audio.
I got the boys.
What's up, boys?
They can't hear you, but they said what's up.
No, no.
This is Brandon. This is the truck we've been working on that Dee sent us some stuff out for. He just got done. As you can see, he was painting his box, and he's covered in paint.
Nice.
He painted the front of the port first.
The box, not on you.
He painted the front of the port, and then was like, "Oh, I gotta paint the back of the port." Hey, man, I was like, "Man, we've done it. We've all done it.
Yeah. We've all been there."
Yeah.
All right.
We'll go get some. I'll go find some stain tomorrow. We'll get it stained up and then get it pretty.
So I'm gonna try to do this, Bob. But I can't watch
y'all
it.
take all the trash out, dude.
So I'm gonna pretty much go through very similarly to what I did 2 weeks ago.
I feel like if you just tell me what to do, it would be.
That?
I feel like if you tell me what to do, it would be easier.
That it would be extremely time consuming, and you and I should have a little bit of practice of that before we dive into it, so that it's not difficult.
Right. I'm going to try to do it while not watching what you're doing.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. So we're gonna go through it this time, probably a little bit faster. But if you guys have questions, I can always back up and redo. And I'm gonna do a ported box this time. Okay. So I've created a new here. Let's do this, and I'm gonna go new design, and I'm gonna name this thing save. And I'm gonna go do this under the Gately curve design, Gately subwoofers section of it. I can show you here. We call it curve design because that was just what it was when we were doing the bent curve instead of doing kerf cuts when we created that. And then we have custom subs or for American Bass or Audio Dynamics or other brand woofers that I've built stuff for. So people kind of get an understanding of the file stuff. I'm just taking you through that a little bit. And, but this is going to be for a Gately audio sub because they're my favorite. So there's that. Okay.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
gonna name this file quietly test box 2. Look. Okay. All right. So we are wide open here, right? We don't have anything going on. And we're going to go ahead and start by creating a sketch. So up in the upper right-hand corner, create sketch. Well, it doesn't show. Hold on a sec. Let me change something here. Hold on one sec, gentlemen.
There you go. Ooh. I've been learning a bunch about the program VS Code for programming and coding and stuff. I'm rebuilding my whole website from scratch myself, so that way I can have it so where customers can log in and find any design they've ever bought will be available right there, along with other account features and all that stuff. It's all in one place.
Very cool. All right, so gonna create a sketch, and you can see the little kind of window here. Is there a way? Can you guys read the information there and maybe even see the little sketch preview that it has there very well, or does it look kind of blurry like it does for me?
Let me go check on YouTube real quick. Yeah, it's not super great, but no, you get an idea what it says.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna create a sketch.
It's good. It's good.
All right. So we'll go from the top. So I'm gonna do the XZ plane here. And now you see that now we're in sketch mode, that all these tools up here at the top have changed to creating, rectangular lines, circle lines, a spline. You can mirror the lines. You can create a center slot by doing a couple circles and joining them. You can do dimensions. Here's a regular line, arcs, and you can do a circular pattern, like if you're doing speaker holes. These are just lines in the sketch. There's similar commands that will be in the solid section. When you're able to extrude, you can do arrays of actual physical bodies as well. So it's a little bit different. But here we are. We're in the sketch, and I'm just going to simply start with a rectangle. And I'm going to start here at the origin. I usually recommend starting most of your designs on the origin.
We should get you that program that Matt and them use that will show people what keys you're hitting.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm mostly very simply clicking the things on the screen that I'm telling you to click. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So if I'm doing anything important with the keys, I will tell you. So we're gonna go ahead and make a box that is 30 inches wide and 16 inches deep, and I'm going to go ahead and finish this sketch. And you can kind of see I have my sketch here. And so I'm going to go to extrude now. Right up here, right next to sketch is extrude. And because that sketch is the only thing available that I can extrude from, it automatically grabs that. So it won't always automatically grab it, only when you first start. Just right now. Otherwise, if for some reason I had some other goofy idea, I could unclick it and then I have nothing selected, but there is nothing else to select. So it automatically selects it. I'm going to build this box, let's say, out of the 1.25 inch, it's like 35 millimeter Baltic birch that we have. We got a whole bunch of it. We've been building some big juicy boxes with it. It's kind of fun. So this information I'm just typing in 1.25, and that's inches. Boom. There's the bottom of the box. Now I'm opening up these little bars here so we see the bodies and we see the sketches that we've created. Sometimes as I'm going, if I know I'm building something really complicated, which this is not, I will name the parts as I create them. I'm going to go ahead and do that now anyway. And this is the bottom. If I make a really important sketch, I will label the sketch, but this one was about as basic as it could be, and I know what it is. So I'm going to make this next sketch, and that one's going to be a bit more complex. We're going to do a lot of stuff here. Okay, So now we've created the sketch and we've selected, let's go back. Let's undo that. Okay, I'm going to create this sketch. Again, create sketch. And then I'm going to grab the top surface of the bottom that I made. Okay, that's where I'm drawing this next sketch, is on top of the bottom. Everybody picking up what I'm putting down?
Makes sense.
Yes. Bobby, let me ask you a quick question. If you build a panel like that, could you literally just grab it and extrude it all the way out and just have a box?
You can. Mm-hmm.
Tell it to like take the inside out or some shit?
You can. Some people actually design that way. And depending on what the shape is, I will do that occasionally. If I'm making something that's really complex shaped, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe that's something that we can do.
So like if you're going around a wheel well or something, you just kind of make the first shape and then like pull it out or something.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to use this offset command right here. And if you guys need, like, if you need your fancy software to tell you that I'm clicking with my left or right side of the fucking mouse, then you guys shouldn't use a fucking computer for anything. What the fuck? Stop it. Jesus fucking Christ, you complicated ass.
Yeah,
Okay.
DL Hogan.
Is your mouse expensive, Bobby, or is it?
No, I have just a regular gaming mouse. I may get one of those space mouses that I played
Dude,
with.
I want one.
The Jeremy Katz, dude, that guy's fucking amazing design, and his, like, I can design in this software really, really well and do some really elaborate shit. But I don't know if I can have the artistic vision of the interior of a vehicle quite like that man. Holy fuck, that dude is.
What's his mouse look like? Is it got like a ball?
He's got the space mouse.
A space mouse. Cool. It looks like a.
It looks like
space mouse.
Space mouse.
I've never seen.
I mean, that's the best way to describe it. It looks like it came from space,
but
it takes. It has a little bit of learning curve, but I played with it for like 5 minutes and did some drawing stuff on his computer, and I was picking it up pretty quick. What I thought I would replace my mouse with it, but that's not the case. You use the space mouse with your left hand.
So here's like the mini one.
And I don't know if that would do me any good or not. I kind of liked the big one.
Yeah, same.
Do you still move it around or use the dial for everything?
No,
it's like left and right.
You can lean it forward and back.
It's like a joystick.
Okay.
And you can grab it and you hold it like this.
That's the pro, huh? You hold it like this.
Yeah, and you do this to it. Yeah, and you kind of, yeah. This is a terrible example.
So use it with your left hand and still have a mouse in your right?
Yeah. So it takes away some of the control stuff that you would use your right hand for with the mouse, and it makes it so that you're just kind of doing a couple of simple clicks.
I want the number pad on the left. Gotta have it.
I don't need the number pad on the left. I like my number pad on the right because I can still drive. You know what? Now I want the number pad on the left side of the space mouse as well, in case whatever I'm doing, I can do
while
numbers.
You're clicking on the number, you can be typing it in.
But numbers everywhere.
With either hand. I can control the space mouse and put numbers like on here, or I can be controlling the regular mouse and do numbers with my left hand.
Step it up, bud. It's got a screen.
You might as well put 2 at your feet too.
Fuck around. You know I use my feet as hands a lot.
I know. I've seen
the biggest thing is like if you move around the 3D software, without this, you click and drag, like you're doing a lot of clicking and moving and clicking and moving. This is just in one motion. You can make the entire movement you want to do.
Yeah, you can do a lot. Jeremy was telling me, he's like, I'm pretty sure I'm a bit more efficient when I know exactly what I'm designing and how I'm going to design it, and I'm whipping through something. And I was like, a lot of what I'm designing is kind of that way. because a lot of times I'm designing a box. It's a truck box, and and it has fucking 5 holes instead of 4, or you know what I mean? Like it's got an acrylic face, and it's going to be upholstered, so it needs So I can rip through a design pretty fast, and if I can divide the workload of motion and movement and adjustment of what I'm doing in the screen between both hands and still have my keyboard, then I think I could probably design a little bit faster. And it's not just that it's faster, it's also probably more fun. And being more fun is more fun.
I mean, really, it's probably better. It's better for your hand because you're not clicking 900,000 times.
Yeah. And it's
but I do design, like when I'm designing, my hand is usually also on the keyboard.
Yeah, my left hand is always
but it'll be on that. Now, what might be really cool with using the space mouse, because right now I always sit up real tall, and I would love to be able to fucking slouch the fuck and be designing.
This is an expensive.
So on the space mouse, I see that it has shift, enter, all the stuff that you ever need.
Well, you can program it. Like here's, I have this.
No, it's got it on there.
I have this gaming mouse, and it has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 extra buttons.
No, bro, I got a Stream Deck.
Any of them.
I got a Stream Deck, and I use the shit out of that. And then I use the Logitech MX Masters.
Okay.
Shortcuts, man.
All right. Enough of space mouse talk. Let's design this fucking speaker box, kids. All right. Let's
bring it back. Be done, bud.
Bring it back.
Boom. All right. So here we are. So we just started. I'm going to go ahead and go back again, kids. I'm going to go back.
That one's expensive. Holy moly. The one with the screen on it's $400.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Creating the sketch. This is sketch number 2. I'm going to select this top surface. I can pick this side of this to create the sketch on too, right? So I'm picking this top surface of the bottom panel of the box. Boom. All right. So I'm going to go up here to offset, and it's going to offset this line. I'm going to grab this outside line, and I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to go minus 1.25. Those are the buttons I pushed. I pushed -1 decimal point 25 for everything.
To be fair, in SketchUp, you don't got to push negative. You just pull it in and hit 0.175, and it knows to come in.
If I pull it in, then if I punch numbers in, it's pretty reasonable. I mean, that's Sorry, it's too complicated for you. Never mind, Drew.
I'm confused. Send help.
All right, so now that's there. I want to extend these lines to represent the way that the panels will go together on the box, right? So I'm going to put this together. Yeah. I'm going to extend this to create this whole area right here will be the left side of the box. And I can extend this line here and here to make the right side panel of the box. Okay. Now, you create a couple of rectangles. This rectangle is going to be 1.25 inches wide. And then I don't know what the other length of the other one is, so I'm just going to press enter, and then that's a variable. I'm going to grab this collinear constraint here, and I'm going to grab this line. So collinear is this right here, and it says collinear. And I'm left clicking that to create that as the constraint tool that I'm going to use. I'm going to select this little line and that line, and now that is stuck to that line where that is.
Huh?
I'm going to draw another rectangle, and I'm going to start at this corner right here, right? If you guys see this, this is the corner of that component, and I want these two parts stuck together right at this point. So now, and I don't know exactly what length I want this to be yet. I'm going to figure out my total port length in a bit. So I'm not worried about that one. I'm going to press tab, and then I know that this dimension will be 1.25 inches.
When you push tab, it locks it in place or something?
No, when I press tab, it goes to the other dimensional constraint that I have the ability to operate.
That's when it brought up the screen to put 125 in?
Well, so
what's the point of tell me why you push tab?
Here, I'll show you.
Okay.
So I'm going to grab rectangle again, and I'm going to draw this rectangle over here, right? And let's say hypothetically, I'm not worried about that length. See the blue number that's going 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8 right here? I'm not worried about that number yet. I want this other number that is on the left side that is 1.01. If I press tab, it'll go to that.
I see what you did.
And if I want that dimension to be 1.25 inches, I type that in. If I figured out in the meantime what the other one needs to be, and I want that to be 8, I can do that.
Okay, you're just sorry.
Yeah, I'm just cycling between the two.
I didn't realize there was 2 boxes to fill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, every once in a while. I mean, those are good questions, right? Because you're like, oh, what the fuck am I doing over there?
I didn't see the boxes because you do it so quick. You know, they just kind of.
Well, I wasn't doing it that fucking quick. Anyway, okay.
I didn't know what to look at, but yes, I get it.
All right. So I'm gonna do a line that's gonna control my port. Okay. And I'm gonna create that as a construction line. Now you can see that there. I can see that on my screen nice and clear when it's not lit up blue, but I needed to do that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create this dashed line that goes from here to here. And then I'm going to create another one of these angled lines from here to there, and I'll get to why I'm doing that in a moment. I'm going to grab another dashed line, right, from the center of this one to the center of this one, and then I'm going to come out the front here. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is the total length of this line. Hold on, let me make sure I make this clear. I'm going to grab this sketch dimension right here. See where I'm at up here?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to set this angle of this line to 45 degrees. And I'm going to do the same here. Now, the reason why I've done that is I can measure these lines and it'll tell me what my total port length will be when I'm doing some port math in a little bit, right? So
why do you measure out to the 45 on the opening?
Because that's how the ports
how they
actually work.
Yeah, center line of the port.
The center line of the port.
But it's not technically the center line of where the port ends. It's like this, obviously.
It actually is.
So there's yes and no.
Yeah.
But yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Depending on how many common walls you have in an enclosure, common walls being like the back of this box is the back, but it's also one of the port walls. It keeps going after the end of the port. So the port is in effect longer than just the end of that board.
I see, that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay.
So if this
was a great explanation.
Before we move on, this has something to do with the boxes. This has nothing to do with this really. So if that angle in the front was a different degree, would it change the one in the front, or in the back? Like you have 45 degrees right there.
The reason why this is 45 degrees just because it makes the space between here and here and there the same.
Now, though technically, if he was really designing and building this, he would probably 45 the back of that port and then put another 45 in the back corner of the port.
That's later.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll get there. We'll get to some of those details with regards to the port as we get a little more advanced. We're doing primary structure first. Okay. So I'm going to grab this sketch dimension constraint information here. And I'm going to go, okay, I want this to be 2 3/8 of an inch wide, because that's a good width for this port to be based on
Steve,
what I'm.
What's the ground like at the showdown? Ryan's asking if it's how wheelchair friendly it'll be.
So where the car show portion, it's blacktop, and where basically all the base heads are going to be, it's like hard packed, small stone gravel, like not big rocks, like a walking path gravel. And then where the vendors are going to be, they will be on a long asphalt strip. So
the base head area won't be super wheelchair friendly, but reasonable.
I mean, it's not like
everything else is asphalt.
Sandy. It's hard packed like a moped.
Yeah. So pretty good. Yeah. I mean, obviously, asphalt's probably a little better, but that's not a nightmare for somebody to live in.
And honestly, like in my show, it's a little different than other shows as far as the vendor row goes. Our vendor row is mostly people who have huge, ridiculous builds. So like our
Yeah,
vendor
so like the vendor row is going to be where you want to be. Anyway.
is like I should just rename it like vendor
Demo row.
alley or some shit because they literally every vendor brings out like Wolfram's bringing out 8 cars this year. Bobby's got like 6, 7. I don't fucking even know. Sky High's got 160 feet. They've got I mean, there's going to be
you about to say 160 cars. I was like, bruh.
so many fucking demo vehicles in vendor row. I don't know if anybody's going to sell anything because it's going to be loud as fuck.
Hate it.
So, but I've asked every vendor, do you want to be on the loud side or you want to be on like the quieter side of vendor row? And everybody's like, I want to be on the loud side. So I'm like, all right.
No, you think you do.
Okay, back to drawing. Sorry.
You're gonna be all right.
It will be. It worked out good last year. It was fun.
Okay, so let's say hypothetically I'm shooting for about 2.5 cubic feet for some random single 12. Okay, now my primary outside dimensions may not be perfect just yet, but I can make adjustments to that very easily. But I know that I want about 38 inches of port area. So my enclosure is going to be 18.5 inches tall. And I know that I want it to be that dimension, just hypothetically, right? So simply 38 inches of port area, and I want it to be probably 28 to 30 inches long, and that should get me in the neighborhood of 32 to 34 hertz, roughly. And this is me guesstimating off of my just general working knowledge. I didn't do any particular math. I might be a little bit wrong, but I'm pretty fucking close. Within
so
reason.
You don't want to hear no shit.
Yeah, I'm just roughly designing the shit. So what I'm doing here is I'm creating a dimensional constraint, but it's over constrained, but I'm only doing it to display that dimensional information. Okay. So I'm going to say create driven, and you can kind of see this dimension here that I created of 13 and 9/16, but I can't adjust that. Like if I told it I wanted it to be something different, it won't work. It'll tell me to fuck off. But I can adjust this one, and I go, okay, I knew I wanted this thing to be a total of about 28 inches long. So I'm going to make this dimension, 14 and 7/16. So 4.375. Boom. Okay. So now I know my port length is where I want it to be. And now for my volume measurement, right? I can't measure the area here unless I make a change here. So I'm going to grab this little dashed line and I'm going to turn this guy into a actual construction line. Now I can grab the footprint area of the inside of the box where I'm going to be able to measure the functional internal volume of the enclosure. Okay. This is shit that we didn't do last week. Okay. We're going to go to inspect. I'm going to click this drop down bar and I'm going to say measure. And then I'm going to grab that area and it's going to tell me that the area of that area is 280.279. I'm just going to call it 280 and I'm going to make a note. Okay. So we're 280 inches squared. And I want to be 2.5 cubic feet after port displacement. Okay. So I'm just going to come over to my calculator and I'm going to go 1728 times 2.5. I got 4320. And I'm going to divide that by this number of 280. And the height of that needs to be 15.5 inches tall. Now, my plan was to make that internal height to be actually 16 inches tall. And I am going to have a little bit of subwoofer displacement, but I'm also going to gain a tiny bit of volume with the subwoofer cutout. So it's going to be a really good balance. I'm going to call this thing good, and I'm going to go ahead and move forward. And I'm going to make that structure, the walls of this box, 16 inches tall. My overall height is going to be 18.5. and I'm going to be real close to 2.5 cubic feet for this single subwoofer after all displacements, right?
Okay.
Real fucking close, within, a tenth or so of a foot, right? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and leave this as it is. I'm going to close out this. Oops, I'm on the wrong screen. And I'm going to go, okay, we're going to go ahead and move forward with making these walls. And I'll add all kinds of 45s and things of that nature after the fact. So I'm going to finish this sketch. And I can look at my sketch in a little 3D way here, just moving things around. I'll press the shift button and I push down on the roller button. And if I had a space mouse, I could just kind of jack that thing off a little bit and make that happen. Okay, so now I'm going to create all of these walls. I can't create them all at once because if I create them, we went over this a couple weeks ago, if I create them all at the same time, they'll make them all one wall. And if I wanted to do that, I could do that, and then I could split them using like split body over here if I wanted to. I'm doing it in a spot. Split body over here. I can slice something with a plane if I need to, but it's better to just create the parts individually. So I'm going to go to extrude right here. We've done this a few times, and I'll start with these two side walls, and I'm going to go ahead and handle this port wall as well. And because those three aren't touching, I can create them. I'm just going to type 16. And see over here where it says join, I'm going to say new body. And I say, okay, now I have my three bodies here. You see it created them. And I may decide to label them right away. Left side.
That's a great TV show.
Why didn't you do the other port wall? Just curious.
Because it was touching that first port wall.
To the other port wall, Steve.
Because it's touching that one.
Yeah, so if we would have brought both up, it would have made one piece of...
It would have joined those two together.
Yep.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And I call this port 1. Okay. Now, I got to turn that sketch back on, and I can create these other three panels very simply. And I can just grab the top of this wall and it'll bring it to that. I do need to tell it that I want these to be new bodies. And then it'll create them. And then you see how that sketch is still turned on. I do need to come over here and turn that guy back off, or it will be active. And I may accidentally grab it when I don't want to. Okay. I'll probably go ahead and name these things. This is the back. This is port 2. And this is the front. All right. So now, this is all pretty simple. A lot of guys just boom, bam, done. They're building a box. If we want to kind of make this thing a little bit fancy, put some shape into it, and we can get into doing dados and things like that, but that'll be later. That'll be another lesson, okay? So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to grab chamfer. All right. Now, this wall here, I don't want to do a 45-degree chamfer. I want to do a 30. And I'm going to bring this guy like this. And I'm going to bring that guy 1.25 inches because I think that looks good. So now I have a 30-degree chamfer there. And I'm going to create another chamfer. Again, I went and I grabbed the same fucking thing. So if that's too fast for you guys, what the fuck? Again, I need to set this to 30 degrees, but it looks like I'm going to have to flip it. I could have just said 60, but I wanted to show you that I can flip this chamfer either way, right? So if I come this way, but I can change that, and it's broken a little bit, but I just bring it back a little bit, and you can see my chamfer isn't the direction I want it to be. And I want that to be equal. Then I got a little tiny bit of flare on the end of my port here. And I have a cutter on my machine that'll make this angle for me. I have 14 tools on my machine.
Real
but
quick,
if I want, what's that?
How did you, I must have missed it. Was there a measurement? Like, how'd you make the two walls the same, like, thickness or whatever?
The chamfer adjustment?
Yeah, so you did the first one to 30 degrees and you pulled it like a certain distance, and then you made the second
Well,
one.
I pulled it, right, but then I went in and I changed this to 30.
And then would you change
and then I went over here to the dimensional point and I said 1.25.
Okay.
You just missed it.
Same thing the other thing. Then you did
Yeah.
60 and 1.29. Okay. Gotcha.
And then the other one, okay, I'll go ahead and do this one again. You're a good student, and you make it easy because I can just easily back up and do it again, and everybody gets the repetition real time, right? So this time I'll just set it to 60 because I know that that's the dimension I want. And but then I don't know. But then I'm gonna fuck myself because I don't know what the dimension needs to be. I don't want to sit here and do goddamn trigonometry to fucking figure it out. So I'm gonna change this back to 30, and I'm gonna flip this, and then I'm gonna set this to 1.25. I'm sure somebody can figure out that math, the a squared plus b squared c squared situation to
I didn't even know
figure out that.
that's even different. That's crazy. So if it's 60 there, that 1.25 is a different number.
Well, yeah, because I'm trying to make a 30-degree angle, so it's
It's crazy with that. So
yeah, it's Pythagorean's theorem of, and you would do the math to figure that shit out, right?
Okay.
7.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
So like box wise, our workflow is very similar in SketchUp, but I know that once we leave standard boxes, oh man, Fuse is where it's at.
Yeah, I downloaded it today. I downloaded it actually last week, but I installed it today because I had to update my software on the computer. So I'm stoked to get started messing with it.
Now, a lot of times here, I'll use a fillet or a fillet. And, this is 1.25 inch material, so I can put a big fat 1-inch radius there, and that'll be pretty awesome. And then, over here, and a lot of times we'll do that by hand right there with a handheld router or on a table, depending. We may or may not use a very complex tool path that'll come in with a regular square end mill and come and go over and back and forth around that part to create that shape for us sometimes. That's how we do those crazy shaped box faces that we actually machine on the CNC.
You used to do it by hand.
I actually did something by hand earlier today. Guess what I did? No, I'm just playing. I made a vase out of birch that I cut 4 pieces with 45-degree cuts. I put a bunch of glue on them. I used Gorilla Tape, and I made a little box tube that was 12 inches long and like 6 by 6 out of the 1.25 inch, some scrap material. And then I drew some Sharpie lines on it, and I got the grinder out, and I grinded the holy fucking hell out of it and made this wild-ass looking shape. And then I sanded it up to like 220. I stained it with black oil-based stain. And then this morning, Colt and I sanded it back, and then we applied a really beautiful Java, like kind of coffee colored water-based stain. And then Colt shot some clear coat on it for me. And then I made an acrylic base, and I shaped it with the grinder to kind of match the flow of the bottom of the structure. And then I put some really pretty blue glitter fake roses in it. And I'm going to give that to Allie when I get home. If she's watching the show, she's going to find out.
Nice.
Hey, Bobby. Hey, Bobby Drew. I notice a lot of folks get a design, or they do their own and add 45s to so many walls, thinking it helps, and it doesn't. Can you expand to help folks? Why?
I don't know why. I don't know why it doesn't help. What I can tell you is that I built 2 of the exact same boxes with and without 45s, and the one with 45s like didn't have quite as high of a peak, and it didn't gain anything across the bandwidth that we noticed. And what I mean by that is our testing sequence goes like this. I actually play burp tones and try to reach as high a peak as I can with the bass knob. And if it doesn't get any higher, then we go, okay, and we pull it back. And then we write down the peak SPL of whatever that tone was. Usually we start with 25. And then we'll put down the voltage, and then we'll wait about 1 minute. And then we go to 30 hertz, and we do the same thing. And then 35, and then 40, 45, 50, and then 55. Sometimes we'll even go to 60. With big, large scale systems, we'll start those burp tones at 20, or if it's like a big, crazy 6th order, 15. right? So then we go from, let's say we're doing a single 12 box, we'll go to 26, and then we'll do 31, and then 36, and then 41, and then we circle back through, and then it's 27 and 32 and all the way up. That way we're balancing out the load on the amplifier, the sub, the electrical system, and we make sure that the voltage stays consistent through that process. And we'll collect all that data and see, and we'll plot that output bandwidth. Now, it's really challenging over the years because we haven't had a consistent single test vehicle that we always used. Getty, our buddy Getty Kedrick, he did a bunch of testing for us. Ray Pimley has done a bunch of testing for us. I had a couple other technicians do some testing. Colt's done a little bit of testing, but we've used a different vehicle all the time, so it's really hard to have a primary single reference vehicle. So anyway, yeah.
So 45s, they add strength.
Yeah.
Right. So that can help whenever someone's enclosure isn't good, and they shrink airspace often, and that's where people see gains because the box needs to be smaller anyway.
Because everybody reads online when people say, "Yeah, dude, Sundown's like really big boxes," and they don't think when they say really big boxes that they look at the box design and go, yeah, 2.5 cubic feet is pretty big for a 12 compared to a lot of subs. They go, oh, 2.5 cubic feet, I better build that motherfucker at 3.5 or 4 because somebody online said they like really big boxes.
And then you need to put triple RMS to that motherfucker and break it and then blame Sundown. Sorry. But yeah, so
go ahead. Sorry, Drew.
So 45s are important, like in the port, to maintain the port area as you make bends and curves and stuff like that.
No,
I like to.
Well, okay, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, I literally tested just that and found that did literally nothing. But it's not going to hurt it to be there either.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just put a radius typically, and we just keep it nice and flat and clean on our enclosures. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some fancy. I'm going to do 45s on the outside of this box.
Bobby, what did you think about that CNC machine that was at Knowledge Fest?
That was a nice machine for the money. The Mastercam stuff is good quality stuff. It's not nearly as massive a unit of like what we have at our shop. Right. But it could machine some stuff and do pretty well. But I mean, that was probably a $40,000 machine, give or take a little bit. Which I
asked him about it. I think he said it was 28, is what he told me.
Oh wow,
30. Well, it's a 4x4 board. Obviously, you'd want a 4x8, I think.
And it's probably just a couple bucks more, like maybe a couple $1,000 more, but maybe it costs a little more for shipping and shit. So you might spend $3,000 or $5,000 more. You for sure want a 4x8 minimum, 100% of the time. Unless you were totally doing something like everybody always is like, oh my God, I fucked myself and I bought a 4x4.
Right.
Like, don't ever do that. But, okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I need to make the top panel of the box before I do any more finish work on the outside of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do move copy. So I'm going to grab the bottom of the box here. And I'm going to, and you have different options. You can just free move, which means I can just grab this thing and fucking jockey it around, whatever. But I'll just bring it back to 0.
Speaking of CNC, found out a local guy has a 5x10.
Okay. So I'm going to, that's what I want next. That's what I want next. So I'm going to go to point copy or move, but I'm going to say copy, right? So I'm going to, you know what? Let me do this. Let me cancel this.
Did you have to move it away from the thing to do this? You don't have to do that, right?
No, I didn't. I was just moving shit around. I'll just delete that command. I'm going to go ahead and grab move copy right here. Grab this guy. I'm going to select copy. I'm going to get my origin point, which I'm going to select this corner because what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this corner right here and I'm going to bring it up to right there. Now I have a top. I say okay. And you can see that it copied the bottom, and that's why I put the little 1 next to it. That's how you'll know what you have. But I'm just going to name it top now. Okay? Now,
there's nothing wrong with being a bottom, but that's just the top.
we know you're a bottom.
Heyo.
Power bottom. Okay.
That's right.
So I'm gonna chamfer a bunch of these corners because I've been having fun with some 45-degree corners. We got a couple things going on with some of the enclosures that we're making some updates to, and we're gonna have some 45s on them because it looks cool and it's a new thing that we want to do. So I'm grabbing all of the edges. I want to put a little, probably 3/4 inch 45-degree angle on here. Okay.
You only want to do the outside edges.
Yeah, I'm not really trying to do the inside. I have a trick that I'll show you guys in a moment to play around with the port opening at the top and bottom. It'll be kind of a fun little example of how it can be done. All right, let's take a look here. I'm going to go ahead and grab this thing and start moving. Oh, it's mad at me. God damn it. Let me see here. Let me undo these top grabbies. I'll come back and get those in a little bit. All right, so just around the outside. And what do we got? We got some limitations here. All right, I got to undo these. You whore. Okay.
Is it because they're not one piece?
No, it's because I was encroaching on this other chamfer that I had done over here.
I see.
Okay. All right, so I like this 45 at 0.75 inches. I think that looks clean. And then let me try something here. I'm going to grab chamfer, and I'm just going to grab this top piece. And I'm going to say 0.75. There we go. Now we're talking. That was pretty bitching. I wasn't 100% sure that would work.
Go back. You can do that again. Just that top part.
Yep. Chamfer, and I'm just going to grab the top. Careful not to grab anything inside. Yep. Grabbing the whole top, and I'm going to just give it the 0.75 dimension like I did otherwise, and now the top is chamfered.
Hell yeah.
All right, and we're going to go ahead and punch our subwoofer hole in there. So I'm going to create a sketch. Boom, right here. I want this thing right in the center, so I'm going to draw a construction line. It could be a regular line, but you're going to have a little bit more work to do in the end. I'm going to grab my circle drawer. I'm not going to make that a construction line. I'm going to grab right at the midpoint of that wire. You see how the little triangle came up for me? And this diameter of this hole is going to be 11 1/8 of an inch because that's what most of our large scale high performance subwoofers have. Some of them are a little bigger, some as much as 11 1/4, but like the Gately Audio and many other super badass 12s have 11 1/4, or we'll give it a little bit of breathing room, 11 3/16. Okay. And we got a hole. I'm going to finish the sketch. I'm going to get extrude. I'm going to go -2 because I know that that's thicker than the material is. Bam, we have a subwoofer hole in here. And let's go ahead and change the color of this to make it match Gately Audio type color. So we're going to go in here to wood finished, glossy, and we're going to, here, I got a better idea. I'm going to go here to here. So what I did is I clicked the bottom here. I'm going to do it again.
Okay, I'm gonna
right click. I'm gonna go to appearance. I'm gonna make sure I have what I want in in this design palette here, and then I'm gonna come over here and I'm going to left click, and then I'm gonna press shift, and I'm gonna come to the bottom or to the top, and I'm gonna click that, and now it's grabbed all the parts, and then I'll grab this 3D walnut glossy. And I would say, okay, and that's great. It didn't work. I'm going to do it again, and then that, and now it should work because I had something selected. And now I have, a cool look. Now, let's go a little further. I'm going to put a little bit of flare on this port opening. So I need to create a plane so I can do a drawing of that shape so I can extrude it out of there to create the flare that I want, okay? So I'm going to say construct a plane through 2 edges. And the edges I'm going to grab are this edge and this edge. Bam. Now I have that plane. I say, okay. I'm going to create a sketch on that plane. And then I'm going to keep this real simple. I'm going to press the letter P on my keyboard. and that's going to bring me to project, and I can project these faces of this box, and that's going to give me the shape that I want here. Okay. I'm going to say finish sketch. I'm going to go to extrude. I'm going to grab that shape. And now if I just pull this out here, it's going to make a fucking piece of wood, right? But if I change this degree to 30 degrees, now I'm cutting open that shape.
I see.
And I say, okay. And now I have my fancy little shape. And then, you know, through the power of button pushing, I can instruct the CNC machine to cut this shape out of these panels for me so that this fits together the way I want it to. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got a pretty cool little box. It's pretty simple. Does anybody have any questions here?
How important is the aerodynamics inside the enclosure? For example, do obstructions like window braces affect performance versus threaded rod? I've also seen 3M tape in boxes. I'm wondering if it makes a difference. The smoother, the better. Flat, the smoother, the better. For output. If loud is your only goal, smoother, the better.
Yeah, fiberglass.
Now, if you give up strength for smoothness, doesn't work.
You fuck up real bad.
That's why, like a big brace, that while it may cause turbulence, it adds strength. Be louder.
If your box is flexing at all, you're losing.
Yeah.
If your box is moving at all, period. Like that's a big one. A lot of people don't think about.
You know what's fucking crazy is I saw David Bradshaw. He's a local SPL competitor. He's got a CRX, and he had his box like strapped down with ratchet straps, right? And he played his burp tone. I can't remember what his score was, but it was pretty good. And he was winning that day at that event. And I saw his box move around, and I was like, "Hey, bud, that thing's wiggling around a little bit." He's like, "I know. If I click it too fucking tight, I lose like 0.4 dBs. If it's
it probably like
right,
pulls against a panel incorrect, like and changes the resonance of a panel a little goofy.
Resonate. He's like, I don't know exactly what it is, but if I have it just a little bit fucking loose, it's louder." And that was a fluke thing that I figured out, and I haven't figured out how to, like, I've fucked around and tested and tried to figure out what it is, but I haven't figured it out yet. But I
bet he
eventually
was just holding the
floor it'll be tighter. Tight. What's that? He's
probably just like holding too much pressure on the floor panel, causing a resonance shift in the car, like something crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, years ago, back 2000 or 2001, and I was on the Turn Pro forum, and there was this competitor dude, and he had a really cool build, and it was a flat-walled neon, and it had three.
Man, the fuck's that guy's name? God damn it!
He had 3 18s in it,
fuck,
and he would like shut off the power to one amplifier and let one of them be like a passive radiator, and he would keep the volume down real low, and it sounded really good. He was like, "No, I listen to music with it like this. I just turn one of the 3 amps off." He only had a 1,000-watt amp on each one because that's pretty much all anybody had back then, unless you had some really wild shit. But he was on Turn Pro, and he was like, "I'm gonna pull my subs out, and I'm going to reinforce it because I found some flexing on this side panel, the 2 side panels and the back panel of the box." His baffle was rigid as fuck. But he was like, these panels are flexing. And he worked his fucking ass off all weekend long to reinforce all of those fucking resonating panels.
And it lost.
And he fucking lost like 4 dBs, and he was trying to figure out where it came from. And then finally it was like the night before, and he was like, if I do this, if I leave it like this for this weekend, I'm going to fucking lose, and I don't want to. So I'll circle back to bracing all that shit later.
Yeah,
and he pulled all the studs out and got a fucking Sawzall in there and cut them all out, put them back together.
Redo all that testing.
tested in his driveway at like fucking 1 a.m., sent a burp through this thing, probably pissed his neighbors off. And then like, you know, and it was in his time, right? It was like 1 o'clock in the morning for me, and he was on the East Coast. It was like 4 a.m. for him. And he was like, all right, guys, I got it back to where it was at least. And there was probably like 3 or 4 of us that were still kind of on with him. Nobody was watching. There was no live feeds or anything then. And we're like, fuck yeah, man. Like, at least you're not going to lose for the event. You learned something, and it's going to be, and then I don't know if he ever even bothered to.
That happened to
but he was like, fuck it, I guess I'm going to let it flex. I don't fucking know. Like,
that happened to Brett Arsenault years ago. He had an F1. This is like, he had kinetic 2400s for battery. That's how long ago, and he was loud, like 60s on music loud, but his box had a floppy bottom forever, and he fixed it, and that bitch lost like 2 dB. He's like, break it.
Oh,
well, Andrew McCain, when he did the first 170 in that blue van, he said that if he makes the roof stiff, he loses a ton. The roof is
SPL's crazy.
And it
like Chris Munson would gain 0.15 dB by turning the steering wheel of the van like 14 degrees.
Yeah, they tested everything. Bobby, can you show us how you put holes in for your speaker mount, or like how do you even calculate where to even put these? Like on the speakers,
like fasteners?
Are they always like a certain distance away from each other on a speaker, or how does that work?
Oh, I don't pre-drill the speaker holes. You just fire fucking bitch and wood screws right into that plywood, and you'll be a happy man.
It'd be all right.
Yeah, but I do drill like in the bottom here. Let's go ahead and create the screw points on the bottom of the box real quick. So that's a good one for you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the vision of the bottom here, and we can see inside. Okay, I'm gonna project
like where it's gonna screw together. Is what you're gonna do, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna screw the bottom onto the box, right? Okay. I'm gonna project all of these panels because I got to put screws in all of them, right?
Okay.
So I've projected all of those. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the bottom panel back on. Square that up. You can always square this thing up here. You can press home and it'll kind of put you back like where everything is, and you can obviously adjust this by pressing shift and grabbing the little rolly wheel and moving things around. Okay, so I'm going to create some lines. I already have it set to construction, and I'm going to keep this a little bit simple here first, because around the outside I can very simply go to offset.
Go around the outside.
Grab this guy, and I'll pull this guy in, and we know our material is 1 1/4 inch thick, and I want to pull just a tiny bit to the inside, so I'm going to go minus 0.65. Okay, and then I'm going to put screws all around there, but I also am going to put some screws down this here.
What is it? He said Isaac's Neon. What was Isaac's username? That's how something pimping. Fuck. It's something pimping. 90. It's gonna irritate me until I figure it out.
All right. So there's a whole bunch of ways to do this. I just do it this way, which Anthony thinks is a long way, but I swear I get it done faster than he does usually. So I just draw however many circles I think belong here, right? And in this area, I think I want like 5. I can actually constrain that one guy right on the middle. Okay. I'm going to get this equal constraint. I'm going to make all my holes equal size. And then this is the way I do this. Go to the center of this circle. I come over here to the wall. I go from that same spot to this one. Actually, let me do this. I'm going to delete this one and this one, because I'll do a mirror. Give me a little line here. Give myself a line that I can mirror from. And then I'm going to get this equal constraint. And I'm going to equal this guy to this guy, and that guy to that guy, and that guy to that guy, and then that guy to that guy. Okay. I'm going to make these holes a little smaller, but I want them to still be pretty big because it's easy for me to grab them. Okay. So I'm going to grab this mirror command, and I'm going to mirror this one and this one. I'm going to select my mirror line. It's going to be right here, and I got those two guys there, all right? I'm going to make another line that goes from here to here, and then I'm going to grab the midpoint of that and just create a line, and then I'm going to make these same drill points. I'm going to mirror this one, this one, this one, and this one across this line. Okay. Here, gonna need that in a little bit, and I'm gonna need one of these in a little bit. Okay. Back to circles. Make sure it's not construction. See this one. I feel like I need like 5 of them on here. Seems right. Anybody have any questions for me as I go here? Or are you guys just kind of picking up what I'm putting down here? This is typically stuff that Anthony does for me, Steve, with his task as in the design area now. He'll set up all the drill points and all the dados and all the and a lot of the tool paths. And then Tyson shares toolpath stuff with Anthony, and Tyson will make slight changes of where some of the drill points go based on feedback from the builders, right? The builders come over and they go, hey, when I put this screw in, and actually like on an angled part of a box, and they got screws going here and screws going there, and be like, the fucking penis's kiss inside the box there and in that panel, and that kind of makes things fucky. And so we'll scooch those two around one way or another to adjust that if something like that happened, right?
Yeah.
So. Okay. Back to this sequence here to get everything to be evenly aligned. And this can be a little bit time consuming. So you see I didn't quite get the connection I wanted. So I grabbed these guys and I coincident them to there. Make sure that that's right. Come back to my equals. Every once in a while you can make a mess in here.
So you can't just put like one thing and say do it every 3 inches or some shit.
There's kind of that. Anthony does something similar to that, but it's I don't feel it's quite as efficient as the way I do it. I'm actually pretty fucking fast with this because I'll be done in just a moment now. Almost everything is in place. So I'm going to, again, mirror some of these holes. I'm going to grab this one, and I'm going to select my mirror line. It's going to go right there. And then let me grab this real quick. John.
Are you still at the shop?
Yeah, I'm still doing the show. If you want to come by.
I'm driving that way right now.
Okay, I'll see you in a minute. Bye. And then I got some more of these holes to mirror. We're going to grab all of these. Mirror line, boom, right there. I'll add another one later. I say okay. And then one more mirror, and that's all 5 of these. Select. Oh, I don't have my fucking thing yet. Got to draw my mirror line. Here. Mirror this. We're going to be just about done here, kids. All right. Mirror. Boom. There's all these holes. I'm going to go ahead and draw one more. More circle. Put it right here. I'm gonna this dimension That looks good. I'm going to say equals this guy to that. Now, another quick little trick here, gentlemen. I'm gonna have to select every one of these holes to drill them through, right? So I'm gonna say finish sketch. These holes are obviously much bigger than I really want them. I'm gonna extrude, but I can easily grab these holes without having to zoom in. If I set them as a little tiny 5mm hole, I won't be able to grab them as quickly and efficiently as I can if I let them stay a little oversized. So get all of my drill holes. And then they're going to come this way. I'm going to go minus 1.25 inches. And now I have all those holes. They're way too big, right? I'm going to go back to this sketch. I'm going to say edit. I'm going to grab this sketch dimension. I'm going to grab one of these holes. I'm going to say 5. And then I'm going to say millimeters. Boom. All those holes are going to change. I'm going to tell the sketch to finish. And now, if you look here, the holes are all the right size.
Sweet.
So it makes it pretty efficient, and it doesn't take terribly long. But
can you have it just mirror the top to the bottom too?
Yeah, but I don't build the boxes that way.
Okay.
Yeah, I could easily, like, let's say I was just drilling the top the same as the bottom. Like if I was, not hiding all my screws, I was going to wrap it in carpet or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I might come back here to this command and delete it, and so that my top doesn't have those 45s on it that we did earlier.
Yeah.
And then I can go to this command here and I can edit it, and I can send these all the way through, right through the top, but I don't want to drill holes through all of the parts. So I'm just going to do the top and the bottom. Bam. Now the top and the bottom have all the holes.
Oh, that's dope.
And none of the parts have any holes inside of them.
Okay. So when you build your boxes, you're doing the what are they called? The pocket holes from the inside?
Pocket hole screws, yep. Yeah, we have you've seen the pocket hole machine at the shop.
Yeah, I just kind of spaced it. I've seen the machine, but I just didn't really I haven't seen a ton of your boxes, I guess, in person.
Y'all know John Nolte?
I haven't holes. Hey,
what up, bro?
Hey.
Hey, look, it's the guy that keeps me on the phone for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought it was you keeping me on the phone.
Yeah.
We were keeping each other.
Right.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this screen so that we're kind of our nice little cozy bunch. And then, any questions? Anybody have any?
I'm looking forward to like when you start doing like more like less square stuff. You know what I mean? Like more angular. Yeah. Because all that, just because I have so much time in SketchUp, I'm really fast with boxes. But like you start getting into curves and shit, SketchUp loses its fucking mind. And you've seen me struggle with it. Like if it's not already a solid, I'm like, all right, let me make this bitch a solid.
Yeah. I remember you showing us that. So what we might do is I can show you.
I think that's good for this week. I mean,
maybe we'll do something that's like a truck box with some exotic angles in a couple weeks. We should probably do this every like 2 weeks, right? Unless you guys have a specific request for next weekend. I can do like something like a truck box that has some angles, and I'll build the like primary shape, and then I'll blow the center out of it, and then I'll create the top, bottom, front, back by using the slice body command. And I'll show you how that works.
And if anybody happens to be using SketchUp and you want a SketchUp day, I got you, brother.
So, Bobby, you use this program for all your 3D printing stuff too, right?
I do. Yeah, maybe we do one where I design like a little base knob mount for like a Gately base knob, and I can show you. All right, guys, I'm going to design the base knob first because you got to design the fucking part first, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like when we built the interior of the. Did I bring up the Impala interior on the screen last week, Steve?
I don't remember. I don't think. Well, we didn't do last week. It would have been 2 weeks ago.
I mean, the week before.
I can't recall.
I was
Maybe a
showing
little bit.
somebody. Yeah. Well, anyway, we'll circle back to fusion stuff next week. In the meantime, what you and I should do, Steve, is maybe next week we can jump on 10 or 15 minutes before, and I can share. You can share your screen, and I can talk you through designing some basics, and then maybe
Yeah, I mean, I can follow everything you're doing pretty easily, but
yeah,
like I can't do it and what because I only have one computer.
right.
You know?
And the best way to learn is to have somebody talk you through it. But for them all to learn,
Yeah,
you have to be reasonably proficient enough so that it's not a clunky mess. And I'm all right there, right there,
well,
right
well,
there,
see,
right. You know what I mean?
think, yeah, I don't think it'll
I think
be
it'll
too
be
clunky.
okay. But
So, like
yeah,
anybody watching, if you guys want to build a box along with me, a complete newbie, watch us on your TV and have your laptop or computer ready with Fusion and literally do what Bobby's telling me to do at the same time.
and maybe we'll go back and we'll start out with like some of the shit I did last week or 2 weeks ago, and I'll go, we're gonna draw a fucking square with a circle in it, and we're gonna do that together, and then we're gonna turn that into a fucking sub box.
I think we could build a box. I think we can do it.
I think we'll be okay. Yeah.
Because I've done a lot of stuff. I mean, it's not like I'm a complete newbie with a computer. I do a ton of design shit for decals and stuff. So I know how to like a lot of the stuff you're doing like makes sense to me. So I think we're
You're picking up what I'm putting down. I think I'm good at teaching this basic sequence because I was so aware of how challenging it can be for people. And I if I can put things into a series of words, then I understand it better myself. Right.
Yep.
So
that's on my like litmus test or whatever the word is. If I can explain it to where my mom can get it, then I understand it.
Great, I like that.
And if I can't, then I don't.
if I'm like at jujitsu, anything I can explain in detail of words, I can teach. If it's one of these moves and I don't even know how to describe it, it's like I do this.
You can't teach it.
I'm not very good. I can do a lot of things that I can't teach at jujitsu but I'm not as proficient as the ones that I can.
Yep.
Right.
I got that from Nathan Munson one year at CES. He explained something that was very high level, and I was like, oh, I got that. And we ended up talking for hours, and he mentioned how like that's how he can tell if he knows something, if he can explain it and everybody gets it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. If you can't explain it simply, you don't know it very well.
Yep.
Yeah. All right,
and
kid.
I think teaching in of itself is hard.
Sometimes I think I have a knack for it. Sometimes I'm a dummy, but that's how it goes.
Dummy to learn.
Yeah. All right, kids. I'm gonna pack up and get the fuck out of here. I fucking love you guys. I appreciate you and everybody else. Fuck you all. No, I'm just kidding. Be nice to people and fix your engine noise. And
Go weld your sunroof up.
Many of you at the showdown. We'll have a bunch of rigs out there, a nice, cool little Gately display area with a bunch of new fancy display components that some of our highest selling dealers will be eligible for. Subwoofer displays, speaker displays, amp displays, enclosure racks, and things of that nature. Kind of like some of the stuff that you saw at the Knowledge Fest. My nose itches like crazy. Anyway, so all right, guys, thank you so much, and I will look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Yes, sir.
See you, Bobby.
You guys are gonna keep on chooching?
I'm for a minute.
I'm gonna talk about the showdown for a minute, and then I'm gonna bounce too. I gotta go get some dinner. So
excellent. Thanks, kids.
All right,
Bye.
Nolte, see you later, buddy. Get that thing
Bye.
ready and go to the showdown. See you, boys. So yeah, before I jump off, I just wanted to talk. Whoever's watching still, the
32
showdown
people.
March. Yeah, March. Tell all your friends. So it could be 90 people, and then they tell their friends. It could be a lot of people. March 1st and 2nd, if you don't already know, it's at the Avi in Laughlin. It's a dope little resort. We're going to be right on the Colorado River. Got a huge lot and a massive car show along with it now this year. I did a car show with it last year, but it's going to be quite a bit bigger this year. There could be a couple hundred trucks just from California coming. I don't know. The car show may be bigger than the base show this year, which is going to be wild. But It's gonna be fun. There's gonna be. Last year we had 180 base cars. I think we'll probably do about the same, maybe more, maybe 150 to 200 just audio cars, and some really heavy big builds. Like Gately's coming out with, like I said, 6 or 8 builds, including all the biggest ones that you guys have seen. There's some builds that are coming out of the woodwork that are huge. Wolfram's got, I think he said 8 vehicles. My car is going to be there. Sky High is going to have, I don't even know how many vehicles. Sound Cube's going to have a bunch of vehicles. So it's going to be wild. So show up. I wish you could be there, Drew, but I understand it's a conflicting weekend.
Yeah, it's the same weekend as Brandy's
so next year,
dinner thing.
For sure, I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody else, book the rooms. They're cheap, man. Fly out to Vegas. It's about an hour and a half drive. And stay for the weekend. It's going to be fun. We're basically going to take this place over. It's going to be a blast. And I don't know, with Slam maybe not happening or happening, who knows? Like, this may be one of the biggest shows you could come to for the year. So
yeah, man, what is up with Slam?
Yeah, and Jerry's going to be there. The debut of his build, basically like at a big show. Brett Baldwin built his. I believe it's 8 NSA 15s on 8 Ruthless 8Ks, maybe. I don't know, but I'm sure it's nasty. I've seen pictures. I know it's nasty. So,
Jeffrey is a fantastic tuner, but doesn't have a ton of experience with super duper loud stuff. But I will log in, and obviously Bobby knows what he's doing. But more eyes is always good, especially whenever something complex.
Oh, for the tuning?
Yeah, it's the more eyes, the better, because there's always, especially in these big builds, there's easy to miss one button, and that button is everything.
So I just installed one of those LF audio dual encoders.
You like it?
I mean, it works in my house as long as I haven't taken the car out yet, but I walked like halfway down the street and I was still able to use it.
I mean, it's cool. It's a cool feature, but I'm saying I'm not walking that far away playing it.
I know, but I was just like, dude, how far away
Let me go see.
Control this shit. So that was dope. The only thing, okay, but I get it. He's got to keep costs at a certain spot. I thought that it was going to show the scope on each channel or on the
scope thing's cool, but
I don't know. Like for me, I feel like maybe I wouldn't look at it as much as I think I would, but I feel
because it's just a signal going in.
Right, but if you make the knobs your end instead of your beginning, it'll tell you what the signal is.
But the amps could still be clipping.
I guess
now that thing he's making, that he said he's working on something that'll analyze the output of every amp and match them. So if it can do that means it can also measure distortion.
He did say he's working on that, and I believe since all this stuff works together, you can probably get the information from that on that dual encoder.
Probably.
Or if not, I'm sure an iPad for sure, and obviously your phone. So maybe I'll just wait till that comes out. But in the moment, I like it. I don't know if I really have to. We are going to reset gains because when we did it with the other knob, like I basically set it to where I can't get dirty. Because it went from like 10 volts inside clean to 7 volts dirty, and I had like no in between line. So I got to reset. I don't know if I really need to reset the gains. I need to reset something. I'll figure something. I know there's something I need to do, but because I'm thinking about it, because all the gains are matched and they're all set at the same voltage. So
yeah, you really don't have to do. It's already matched. Just turn down. Just turn like the level down on the radio or whatever.
I guess what I could do is I could just I'll just measure the voltage coming out and see what 100% knob is.
Yeah.
And I might have to back down the DSP a little bit or something.
Yeah, I would just back down the DSP. I would, if the amp's already matched, I leave them.
Yeah, just do it through the DSP. So yeah, I'll do a little bit of that. And like I said, I haven't done any testing with it yet, but it's nice. It's small. It feels nice. It's clicky,
I had one of the original prototype Pros, the single knob, and it was cool.
It's nice. It's a good unit.
Yeah, all of his stuff is nice. I'm waiting for so Kenwood at Knowledge Fest, JVC announced new radios. They that absolutely are going to change the game. 100%. They're so like they have an 8-inch and 10-inch version. I'll pull up pictures because like this changed how I'm doing both builds so dramatically that I have to wait till they come out because now my entire wiring has changed.
I want to see. What is it?
I'm pulling it up. I'll go to Dean and Fernando's 5-star car. So their main use is it's called direct replacement. It's a JVC Kenwood thing. So you know how in a lot of modern vehicles you can change the radio, but it's a little weird. Like the Explorer, you can change the radio, but you have to like integrate with the factory knobs, and you have to like it's just weird. This is. Can you hear that?
No.
Okay, it doesn't really matter. This is what I'm talking about. Where's that? That's so that's an 8-inch screen, and the brain is completely separate.
Yeah.
So you can mount the screen in the dash, put the brain elsewhere, but it has optical output.
Okay.
And that is so much of what I needed in both vehicles. I wanted to keep steering wheel controls. I couldn't because I was doing iPad optical. Now I can. It's just great. So there's a 8-inch version and the 10-inch version. Like you know the big floaters.
That is dope because it'd be. I have like nowhere to. So like the kicker head unit, if that big round piece in the back came off and I could put it somewhere, it'd be fucking nice. Can't do that.
So this is mainly for integration. Like it replaces your OEM radio directly in the vehicle, like the screen and the brain of the vehicle. That's what its intention is for.
Okay.
But I don't give a shit about its intention.
Yeah, I don't care about any of that.
No, the fact that I can put the brain somewhere else and have the 8-inch screen in the dash or the 10-inch screen in the dash or whatever.
You know, there was a head unit like this way back in the day.
So Alpine makes one, but the problem is it's a little bitty controller, like that big.
Okay.
And it's just, I'm like, that's not, you know what I mean? But boom, optical output. Brother, I am gassed up.
So
we can have the screen in the cabin.
That could go right to the JL amp too, right?
Yep. 100% optical. Straight into the VXI hub.
And then I wouldn't need any of the RCAs as inputs, and then I just have output RCAs.
Oh no! Ah! Oh shit! I banned that dude on accident. Oh no! Fuck! How do I undo it?
Who did you ban?
Dude, Trap House. I was trying to pull up his comment, and like I banned him. Oh shit! So he had. I'll Trap House. I'll go figure out how to unban you after the show. But he had said that Stinger had optical output already, but the Stinger radio sucked. Oh man, how do I undo this?
How much are those? If you had to guess,
They're probably going to be a grand.
Yeah,
at least. Yeah, because the one one of them is a Kenwood Exelon reference, so it's like a bougie ass radio. But Trap House, I will unban you. I just don't know how yet.
So what me and Dan talked about doing, because we're trying to figure out how to use the kicker head unit, and since I don't have really any room in the back, we may put the head unit actually inside like underneath the dash, and then have just a little controller.
The Alpine has this
in the back.
It is the same thing. There's just no. I don't think there's optical. There was. It's not big, little. Like it's not even.
Yeah, but it'd be cool to just have that in your hand. Like if you built a little box with that and a knob. I mean, that'd be kind of dope.
How do I undo this ban? I feel so bad.
You know what I mean? If you don't care about being in the car, if you want something out of the car, that would actually be really cool because like just that with a fucking bass knob would be.
It definitely has its application, but $1,400.
Yeah,
brother.
I know you just buy an iPad Mini and fucking.
And so that's where I was at. I was going to do iPad into the Berry back, which gives me optical output. It'll charge the iPad, but I lost steerable controls, backup camera. You lose all that. And I drive the Tahoe. That motherfucker, I'm driving it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't care about any of that.
And so, the Duramax is going to get the one of these two just because. But no, like I want steering controls. I want backup camera. I want all that. I drive these trucks.
Honestly, if I do put, I wonder if that kicker one, if you could put a backup camera on it.
How do I unban commenter StreamYard?
Shit.
I think it has a backup camera.
Because if it does, that might make sense to put it inside because I have no rear view mirrors. So, yes. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna go get some dinner. I'm fucking starving. Are you gonna stay on? Or are you gonna bounce? What do you want?
I'm gonna stay on for a minute. But you have control of the Quietly Loud YouTube, huh?
We both should. You should be in there just like I am.
I might have to go digging for the login because it looks like he was on YouTube, so it looks like I have to go unban him from YouTube.
Oh, the Quietly Loud YouTube, not
Yeah.
this. Yeah. Let's see. I could just.
I think I should have the login. I'll use it.
Let me see. I could just. I'm in there right now.
How to unban people on StreamYard video. Here we go.
Switch account to. It's not even on here. What the hell?
I don't know. Not a guest. You unban a commenter.
What the hell?
I feel so bad.
What was he asking?
He had mentioned that the Stinger's had a radio with optical output for a while, but just it's personally, it was not great, and it was a big floater only. Like I don't want a big floating radio.
All right, so I'm in our Quietly Loud account. What do I got to do? Do you know?
No, I will let me go to my YouTube and dig around for a second. View your channel. Probably going to be customized channel. Probably studio, community.
I don't know.
Nope. I'll figure it out.
Oh, here we go. View deleted message. Let me see here. Go to channel, pin message, report, remove, put user in timeout. No, none of those. Okay. Did it come back up? No. It won't really let me do anything besides really nothing.
I'll get it figured out, and yeah, I'll get it figured out. Oh, feels so bad.
All right. Participants, moderation, community. Okay. All right, man. Well, shit. I guess I'll see you next week if I don't talk to you in the meantime.
Oh, you'll talk to me because I'm gonna get with you about how to unban this. Okay. Any hidden users, community.
All right. Later,
Anyway,
Drew.
I'll get it figured out, and I will. Yeah.
Cool. See you guys for watching. See you at the fucking showdown. Let's go. Later.
Yeah, I think I'm about to log into the Quietly Loud YouTube, and I'm gonna go into the community comment section and probably unblock it. I was just trying to pull it up. Oh god. So when I say the minute I saw them available, I called the Kenwood distributor for the Southeast, and I said, "Bruh, the minute they show, don't even call me, just send them. Need it." There we go. All right, guys, I'm gonna hop off here. I'm gonna make another little call, and then I'll get some dinner, and I might go tack weld that sunroof in place on the Tahoe. Maybe I'm gonna go check on Brandon's box. He is painted. He painted the inside today. I picked it up from Joey. Picked it up raw. I was like, man, let Brandon in. I'm like, we just gonna get it. I said, my least favorite part is building, is cutting the wood, building box. I hate it, hate it. But I love the finished work. I said, look, we'll get Joey, knock this box out real quick. We'll pick it up raw. He'll do the finished work. It'd be pretty. It'd be a good time. It'd be a good time. And then we get it today, unfinished. He's like, you think we could just throw the subs into here? I said, nope, sir. So you gotta wait till this. You gotta wait. I said, you put in enough work. You could have it. You could have it in this weekend. Like, so you can paint the inside today. So you can probably stain the outside tomorrow. And then that's Thursday. And then Friday we could get the LEDs in and the plexi in. Well, get the LEDs in, get it ready for plexi, because we're gonna need to drill through the box into the back wall. Well, we'll drill the back wall metal and then use threaded inserts to bolt it to the back wall. Make it stronger. And yeah. He's gassed up. And another one of their friends was here. He bought an amp, JP23. If you move C pillar wall forward to B pillar, it could be a lot, because you could have it depends on the vehicle. You could have a lot of loss, like a lot. If you have back doors that are flexing, and I mean it could be a ton, or it could be none. There's really no way to know without doing it. Right now he has a Kicker 1200, but Didi is sending him a 1500, and we're just gonna do a bunch of just affordable, solid stuff. I mean, you could see a big gain. But they had another one of their friends come over today. He bought a JP23, put it in, it blew up. And I was like, why'd it blow up? And he was like, had 0 gauge power and 4 gauge ground. I was like, oh. And he showed me where it blew up. I was like, that'll do it. Now, you most likely will gain, just because you're shrinking the cabin so much. But there is the possibility that you don't. But I would assume you will. So anyway, Ant blew up. He is sending it back in for warranty. Like I said, sent it off yesterday. I was like, dude, so you don't have no base? I said, bruh, go grab one of them kicker amps. Go put it in there. He's like, even with the smaller wire? I'm like, look, it only fits 4 gauge, so you got to figure it out. But it'll be all right. Go put some bass in that car, dude. No reason to not have anything. Later, dude. And then I was like, dude, why did you have it like that? You could have just come and we could have took care of it. Yeah, kids. Oh, so I don't know if you saw me opening these lights earlier. Got another set of free lights from the Russian Chinese person on Facebook. I keep telling y'all to get these lights. Y'all don't want to get them. I'll get them all. So all they want is some pictures and a review. Boy, they can have it. All right, I'm gonna hop off here. Y'all have a good one. Okay, bye. Go fix your engine noise.